Just recently, Apple released the greatest album ranking of all time. Nah, I'm just fucking joking. This thing was absolute shit. You're not surprised to hear this. You've probably heard this before. I mean, you've probably heard most of the points I'm gonna say, but I'm still gonna say them, because I fucking hate this shit. Now, I mean, yeah, they probably forgot about some of my favorite artists. They probably forgot to put some of their really good albums on there. But, I mean, I think most people probably have this, same feeling. And they probably have different reasons. They probably have different artists. They probably have different albums. This fucking internet. I'm gonna say what I want. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, my first reason of why this thing's so shit, now you probably already heard this reason before, is that Taylor Swift's album, 1989, isn't number 18. Now, I understand that Apple glazes Taylor Swift, like most other people in like music or whatever, like Rolling Stone does and all that shit, right? But it being at 18, this is much beyond normal glazing. This might be a level of glazing that mankind's never seen before. This dogshit album, being at 18, is an atrocity. This is a fucking war crime. There's gotta be somebody at Apple that just like dreams about like sticking their tongue so far up Taylor Swift's ass that it gets out of her anal area and goes all the way up into her large intestine. There's no fucking way that this album's at 18. Like most lists that I've seen, or like the Rolling Stone list, this also shit, but they put her album, not this album, one of her albums, Red, at like 100. And just kind of like left it there, like neglected it like a middle child. But this album being an 18, it's very blatant. It's like obvious. Like this is like supposed to be something like an album you're supposed to listen to or some shit. Like this just should not be here. Like what the fuck? What the fuck is Apple thinking? Like this isn't a list for fucking 12-year-old girls. It's for people that listen to a wide range of music. Don't just listen to fucking pop or whatever shows up on their TikTok feed. Another reason why this album ranking is so shit is because the Pimp a Butterfly is not on. Normally, when you like see like an album is not on a ranking, you just kind of get really pissed off like in the moment, and then you just kind of forget about it because you see something more anger-inducing, where you just like keep going through the ranking, right? This is not the case here because if Kendrick Lamar already has an album on this ranking, that album is at number 7, and Good Kid, Mad City is a worse album than Pimp a Butterfly, and that's like commonly agreed on. That's not like a like big opinion by me. No. This is like proven fact. The Pimp a Butterfly is more experimental, more influential, and just a better sounding album than Good Kid, Mad City. So it not being on here when Good Kid, Mad City is number 7, it's just fucking crazy. Now Apple, hearing the same thing that I'm saying, decided to create like a video with like one of the people that helped create this like dog shit list. And what they say in this video probably pisses me off even more than like the fucking ranking did. Because of one, they say some shit like, oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar can only have one album on this list. Not 2, 1. And because of that, they chose Good Kid, Mad City, because Good Kid, Mad City was easier to listen to. Now, art is not supposed to be easy to enjoy. It's not something you go into the museum, see, and are like, oh, that looks cool, and then just fucking forget about. No. That's the same applies to music, too. When you listen to an album, you're supposed to be impacted by it. It's supposed to, like, make you think about it for days on end, over and over again. That's what a good album is. And it being easy to listen to, that means they practically give you all of the different, like, symbolism and all that right to you. Just like that. There's not any, like, searching or any, like, hunting for symbolism. It's just given right to you. It's like right in your fucking face. Saying an album is easy to listen to just means it's a worse fucking album, right? Why exactly would Apple Music, when they're trying to create the best possible album ranking, would put an album that is worse than the other album they're thinking about putting on there? But this just shows that Apple Music does not care about whether this album ranking is like good or not. All it seems to be for them is just like put as many artists that are popular onto this album ranking to get people to go on their website and listen to more music. That's all they seem to fucking care about with this album. I mean, that clearly shows because they've forgotten about so many other good albums, like Led Zeppelin 4. Led Zeppelin 4 is not even on the fucking list. Led Zeppelin 2 is, right? But Led Zeppelin 4 isn't. Led Zeppelin 4 is a better album. It's an album that is universally recognized as one of the best rock albums of all time, yet it's not on the fucking list. Folsom Prison Blues, one of the best live albums of all time, not on the list. There are a bunch of fucking Bob Dylan albums that aren't on this fucking list. Blood on the Tracks, Blonde on Blonde, Freewheeling, Bring It All Back Home, Times Are Changing. Like, one of these albums can find their way onto this list. Like, there's only one Bob Dylan album on here, which is Highway 61 Revisited. And it's not the best Bob Dylan album. It's not. It's a good album. It should be on the list, but it's not the best. So why the fuck is there only one Bob Dylan album on here? there's one Neil Young album, I'm sure you can somehow fit one of his albums with Crazy Horse or one of his solo albums on the list. Like, you could put Harvest on there. You could put Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. What about all these punk albums if you just died and forget about? There are only 2 punk albums on the list. 2! And this is one of the most critically acclaimed genres out of any. You could fit the Ramones' first album on there. You could fit Let It Be by The Replacements. You could put Nevermind the Buttocks. Like, come on, just you can literally put any of them on there. Now, I understand there's like a limited room. Yeah, I mean, it's only 100 albums. But all these albums can definitely fit on the list. Were there 2 Beyonce albums? There's a Taylor Swift album on there, which we've already talked about. And there's a Michael Jackson album on there. And there's just a bunch of albums that should not be on the list that are on there. Because you're just trying to cater to all these random ass people that, you know, don't listen to all that much music. And, you know, you're trying to get them all interested in, like, whatever. By this point, this list just keeps on. Like, every single time I look at this list, I just keep on thinking of an album that should be on here that's not. Like, I don't understand why I'm fucking obsessing over this shit. Like, every single time I look at it, it just gets worse and worse and worse.